Welcome back, everybody. It's been 2 years. It's been over 2 years. So you know what that means. Retro Game Room update. I think it's been closer to 2.5 years. So apologies to both of my subscribers for not giving regular updates on this one. Thanks for hanging in there with me, though. I do appreciate it. So it's not going to be a full update. I just want to talk about a few kind of select consoles that have changed. A lot of things have not changed, but a few things have, and I want to kind of get into them a little bit more, maybe a little more detail than I did the last time. So just a quick recap. If you haven't seen my previous videos, all the consoles you see here in front of you are connected to this TV via HDMI. Now they're all going through a 16-port HDMI switch. I'm not even using all of them. I'm using quite a few of them, though. I think I got about 4 left. And they're going through this receiver, this cheap dinner receiver that I got years ago, into this TV. The TV has changed from the last video. The previous LG OLED got a little tired, so we had to trade it in for a new model. This is a C2 I got about 8-9 months ago. So LG OLED C2 to be specific, and it's fantastic. And nothing but good things to say. I love having the 120 hertz update with the PS5 on it. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I actually want to talk about these consoles right here. So I went a little crazy with the clear retro console craze that's kind of going on right now. I don't know what we're going to call this. The Retro Game Room Update Prison Edition, maybe? Incarceration Edition? Locked Up? It really doesn't matter. I'm not monetized, so they can't demonetize me. Yeah, we'll come up with a name. But why did I do it? Because prison changes a man. That's why. No, seriously. I just think they look cool. So we're going to go through each one of them. We're going to kind of talk about all the ones that have been modified anyway, all the clear console ones. We're going to talk about all the modifications that have been done to them. I thought it would be fun if we brought up the on-screen displays for the consoles that have that, which is all the HDMI modded consoles have something along those lines. But if you've got any questions about any of the modifications that were done, how they operate or anything like that, just go ahead and ask in the comments. I'll answer them. Trust me. If you see my previous videos, I answer every single one of them. So, as far as the modifications themselves, I did them all myself. That's kind of my I guess my hobby number one is retro game consoles. Hobby 1A is modifying them. I might even get more fun out of doing the mods than I actually do playing the games. Blasphemy, I know. But let's start at the beginning, where we always start, with the OG, Nintendo. Oh, well, what's that you say? The OG of the OG. Yes, this is new from the last video. This is a Famicom that I think I got for free a long time ago. And it had the special edition gold case. It was disgusting. So I don't know what happened. I might have had a few little cocktails or something. It was late at night. I went ahead and popped on this thing. It was not super cheap for a console that I don't even really use. It's not connected. The only thing that's really done to this console, other than the clear shell or clear upper shell, is it has a composite video mod, which you can kind of see out the back there. There's the mod board and the wires. That's what I love about these clear shells, is you can see all the mods that are done on the inside of them. That's probably the biggest reason why I like them. The ones that are totally transparent like this anyway. Super cool looking to me. In the future, am I going to do any more mods? Maybe. There might be maybe a RGB mod down the road. We'll see, because the composite video looks really bad. I mean, it looks better than RF, but there's still like jail bars. Really bad jail bars to the point it's barely usable. There have been some new things that have come along lately which are related to this one, which I'll talk about in a second, as far as new board designs that kind of go a long way towards helping that problem out there, cleaning up the picture a bit. So maybe that's in store down the road. I don't know. We'll see. That's literally the only Famicom game I have right now. at all. And it's in the console. So let's move on to the OG. This is same as the clear top here. This is an RGR Retro Game Restore clear shell. I definitely pre-ordered this one. And this is probably the coolest one, in my opinion, that they did. So, what all has been done? It'd be easier to say what hasn't been done. Well, I'll tell you what hasn't been done to this console. It's still got the power and select and reset switches and the PPU and the CPU and the lockout chip. That's it. That's all that's left of this console. Everything else has been basically replaced. So this has a high-def NES HDMI mod, outputting 1080p. It has the blinking light win cartridge slot modification. I rebuilt the power supply, recapped it, and it has, you can kind of barely see it through there, the pink board. It has an OpenTendo PCB. If you're not familiar with what OpenTendo was, it's essentially a recreation of the original NES circuit board. And the idea is that you replace it with like new components, resistors, capacitors, things that fail over time, clock caps or crystals, things like that. Now there's things that are proprietary to Nintendo that can't be replaced. There's no third-party manufacturers for them, like the PPU, the CPU, the lockout chip, but just about everything else can be replaced. So that's pretty much all the modifications to it, and of course the blue LED, if you remember from my last video. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up, and let's bring up some OSD, some on-screen displays for some of these consoles. All right, there's the game. This one's really easy. Okay. Left and select, and we're in our on-screen display. So, resolution 1920 by 1080, otherwise known as 1080p. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Super NT. No changes did. There's really nothing that I can think of that you can do to these things anymore than the quote-unquote jailbreak, which is already built into it when it shipped, practically. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. Plenty of videos on the internet about the Super NT. It does have the cool multi-changing LED, which I'll show everybody. I just think it looks neat when you turn it on. But there's plenty of videos on YouTube about the Super NT. And I love the startup sequence too. Like everything about Analog is really just top notch. They really do great work. I know there's some controversy around them, but I like their products. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, moving on. The Super Nintendo. I think this was the first Retro Game Restore RGR clear console they built. It's, again, top-notch quality. Really impressed with it. What's inside of it is my original Super Nintendo from my childhood. I say childhood, but I mean I was like 16 years old when I bought this thing, when it came out. Again, the top, it just turned into the special edition gold color, and it's just brittle and it's gross. This is not actually connected right now. If I were to connect this to the setup, I would probably use like a RAD2X cable, HDMI cable. But with the Super NT, I really don't need this all that much. But it looks great compared to its sibling there. Nothing else has been done to this console other than the case. But I am very interested in Voltar's upcoming Super Nintendo RGB mod bypass. Up next is the N64. Now, this is not an aftermarket shell. This is an original ice blue. Why am I talking about it? It's transparent, so yeah, it counts, right? And it's also had some modification done to it, which I'd like to talk about. It has the Ultra HDMI version 2 mod chip in it. It also has a 3D printed blue no-cut HDMI ports in the back, which I can't really show you right now, and a blue LED. And that's really about it for this console. It's been pretty rock solid performer. Not gonna lie, I don't play a ton of N64, but this one just looks cool. Let's go ahead and fire it up and bring up that OSD. Blue LED. All right, this is one of the trickier ones. Let's see if I can do this. And there it is. Apologies for the ceiling light. Apologies for the lighting in general. The lighting in this room is just bad. This is about as good as I can do. HDMI setup. Let's take a look at that. If you can see it, I see it's kind of small. It says 1080p 16:9. And what I do there is I just put the TV into zoom mode, and that typically brings it back into 4:3. Anyway, okay. That's the Nintendo 64. Let's go ahead and turn that guy off. Up next, GameCube. Ice Cube. That's trademarked. What all has been done to this GameCube? Well, quite a bit, actually. It has the Pluto 2X internal HDMI mod. It has a 3D printed silent fan mod, which I'm trying to show you guys a little bit, but the 3D print is white. I just think it looks kind of good on the clear. So it has a silent fan mod. It's got a Xeno chip. I got off eBay, so I'm sure it's not an original Xeno chip. It's probably a knockoff. And I think that's it. Down below, that's the Japanese Platinum Game Boy player. And since it's Xeno chipped, it works just fine. Essentially, it's a region-free GameCube. What do you guys think? Should I change out the Game Boy player? Since I've got the clear mod, I was thinking maybe going with that Spice Orange Game Boy player. I think that would look really good. But I do like the Platinum on this too. I think it just kind of looks like they're meant to be together. I don't know. As far as this clear show goes, this is an AliExpress one. I think Bitfunks might have made it, but I gotta say, it's actually pretty high quality. I have no complaints at all about the quality of this case. I think it looks good. It went together good. It was an easy, really super simple putting it together, so I don't really have any complaints. And honestly, it was one of the easiest to get the screws in of all these aftermarket cases that I've had. Some of them are really hard to get the screws in, and I give myself carpal tunnel trying to do it. Okay, so this also has an on-screen display, so let's fire it up. This one's a little bit tricky too. There's the screen. Yep, didn't even do it right the first time. There it is. This one's a tricky one. Again, I was finally able to get this thing up. Okay. So that's the GameCube. Okay. Now just below the Super Nintendo, or the regular Nintendo, the OG, I've got a PC Engine. Now, this is not where this normally lives. Something else normally sits here. This guy's kind of homeless right now. But again, it might have been the same night that I ordered that Famicom. I was like, I'll get myself a PC Engine case too. This one is not HDMI modified. It has essentially a triple bypass. So I saw this board. I was just, I don't know, bumping around on one of the PCB manufacturer site, and somebody had uploaded this essentially triple bypass for PC Engine board. So it's an RGB bypass, a stereo modification, and you replace the RF port with a 9-pin mini DIN or Sega Genesis 2 port. So I thought I would give it a shot, and yeah, it looks really good. I run it through a HD Retrovision cable most of the time. Yeah, great picture. Nothing more to say about that one, really. It just has the triple bypass mod and the clear shell, but I think it looks great and it plays great. So let's move on to the Dreamcast. So you've seen this before. I haven't made any changes since the last video on this one. It has the DC HDMI from Pixel FX. It has a 3D printed fan shroud and lid latch, which you can see through the case. It has the silent fan, and it has the battery, replaceable battery holder mod. So that's everything has been done to this console. Let's go ahead and fire it up. And the sound is all muted because I just don't want to deal with any audio copyright strikes, so they can take all $0 of my dollars that I'm getting from this. Again, this is one of the trickier but I got it the first try. First try. So there you go. DC HDMI. I love this mod because it has Wi-Fi on it, so you can make firmware updates over your Wi-Fi. How great is that? Forward thinking. I love that. Big fans of this mod. Again, the games play great. It's all in 1080p. It looks fantastic on the LG C2 up there. Okay, last console I want to talk about today. OG Xbox. Okay, this is an original Xbox 1.6B. Obviously, it has I believe it's called a ghost case. So it's got a clear case. And these really aren't in production anymore. I kind of got lucky to get the one that I've got. Pretty happy with it. Again, this was kind of before the clear case mods kind of started to boom. So this one was a little bit of a struggle to get to fit right. But we eventually got it right. Got it on there. As far as modifications, this one has the Xbox HDMI mod from Make Megahertz. I installed that mod. It also has the Project Stellar mod chip. I did not install that mod. Red Herring 32, shout outs to Red Herring 32, actually did that mod for me, upgrading it from an Aladdin XT that I had put in there before. It's just this original Xbox software modding learning curve is steep, and I had to ask for a little bit of help on that. Don't be afraid to ask for help, guys. I mean, I don't know everything. I don't expect everybody. I don't expect you to know everything either. So, those are really the only modifications. I've recapped it. I've replaced not all the caps, but the problem caps on it. The clock cap and some of the power-related caps tend to go bad on these, and they did on this one as well. I'm not going to bring up the OSD for the Xbox HDMI mod, but we're going to boot to the Stellar OS screen. So here we go. Other than that, no other modifications to this console. I might do a silent fan mod on this thing. So I think we just hit start. And there we are. We hit start to boot into the Stellar OS menu. So there you have it. That's the Prison Edition Retro Game Room update. Feel free to ask me any questions you might have about any of these mods. Check out my previous videos where I kind of go thoroughly into every single console and some of the modifications. And we boot up every console. We talk about all the mods. You can check that video out. Ask me questions there too. But hey, thanks for hanging with me. And I don't know. Maybe we'll see you sooner than 2 years from now. Or maybe not. Bye, guys.